Well, joining me now is Darrel Peel, a livestock marketing specialist and ag economist at Oklahoma State University. So how much impact is this really going to have on Oklahoma's beef economy?
Well, I think there's two layers here. One is the immediate psychological impact was great. We've been waiting for this. We hopefully get past most of the politics that's kind of held this thing up. But I think the reality is now we've got political access, now it's economic access, and that takes time. We have to earn this market back. It's not just laying there in exactly the same form it was before. So, other places have supplied beef to Japan, other meats have taken a role, including U.S. pork and other places, and so we have to go in now and actually compete in those markets and earn that market back. It takes time. We'll see some progress by the end of this year, but I think we're talking about a 3 to 5 year process really for this thing to come anywhere close to what it was before.
Now, before we were forced out of this market, it was about $1.5 billion market, which is nothing to sneeze at, but when you look at our overall beef picture, it's kind of small. So why is trade to Japan so important?
Well, it's important at the margin. It's also important to keep a perspective. It's not everything. It's not a huge thing, but it's important because it represented high-valued products in general. It represented a market for specific products, and increasingly we're becoming aware in the U.S., particularly as trade impacts things, that it's about adjusting the supply of specific products in the market. We talk a lot about tons, about pounds of beef here and there, but it's about specific markets. Beef is a lot of different products, and so these markets are very complex, and one of the things trade does is it helps us take a fixed set of products that come from cattle and adjust them to more or less of certain things according to what people really like to have, and trade helps sort that out.
Yeah, and I know even in Europe too, when we've had some trade disputes over beef, it's led to almost trade wars.
Well, there's certainly been a political angle to this. I mean, there is any time, but beyond it, the other thing you have to recognize is that the culture in Japan is very different. The consumer perceptions about food safety issues are different than they are here. And that was apparent in 2001 when the Japanese first discovered BSE in Japan. Beef consumption plummeted in there. It affected our export markets even then, well before we found BSE in the U.S. And that's a very big contrast to what happened in the U.S. and Canada when BSE was found. It had impacts on the market, but underneath it all, consumer reaction was relatively minor compared to what it was and still is in Japan. That's one of the reasons that market is a slow recovery market, is because consumption has never really recovered in Japan from when they discovered BSE in their own country.
Appreciate your insights. Darrel Peel with Oklahoma State University.